Better?
Yeah, like it's pretty bad over here because it's raining.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
in Georgia now or?
No, I'm in Calicut.
Oh, അപ്പോൾ ഭയങ്കര late ആയിരിക്കില്ലേ?
Oh, a little late.
You should have told me. I thought you were in Georgia. That's why I postponed it.
No,
Sorry.
it's fine. Look, I sleep at 1 a.m., so it's fine. So it's
Yeah.
really late for me.
Okay.
All right. Especially when you're a medical student, I think you get this insomnia where you don't sleep much.
Yeah, my parents tell me about it all the time. Sleep late, wake up late.
Exactly. So how are you doing? How's things back over there?
It's all right, to be honest. Number of COVID cases are rising again, which isn't great, but
Yeah, but I think it's better than India, right?
that's true. But India's like at its peak right now, isn't it? So
Exactly. And I think India is number two.
yeah.
Yeah, I think. And the thing is that it's like India is number one actually, but when you look at the ratio, right, due to the testing, the US they have much more higher, more testing rates, and the population is less. So when you look at India, the population is more, and the PCR, the testing is less. So I think it's because of the ratio. At least we'll reach number one somewhere, Indians, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So
yeah.
we never had a proper conversation, right? Even from back from school.
I don't think so. I think we've messaged like once or twice, but
Yeah,
other than
that's
that,
it.
not really.
Like, and I think it was just for some for the farewell. I don't know. I think it was for some function. I messaged you for I don't remember actually.
I think so. Yeah.
So
It was a while ago.
yeah, it's like 3 years. I think 3 or 4 years since we passed out of Sadbhavna.
Yeah.
So how's your mid school going?
It's all right. I skipped the hard part of first year because, that semester was almost fully cancelled because of COVID.
Oh.
They just kind of uploaded everything and our final exams were cancelled. So I got it quite easy, to be honest. But it's definitely more work than school. It's definitely more work than school.
Yeah, that's true. But people say that when you're in medical school, it's actually difficult for you to have some leisure time. I think that's complete lie. Like if you have a time management skill, I think you have like a lot of time to spend with your like what you love or with your hobbies. Because I've seen guys who have they got really good time management skills. So they do everything, and when the exam comes, right, they score like really high marks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I ask them, right? I ask them, how do you do it? So they say, bro, we just have this time management skill that at this time we focus on partying and everything. And when it comes to studies, we just focus over there. So they just study for like 8 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day. And they say that's enough. If you like clear your concepts, that's more than enough. I think the discussion is going out in hand, right? We came thinking about medical school. Yeah. Again, I want everyone to meet Sarah. So she's been in my school. Actually, I am her senior, and we don't talk much because I think Sarah knows that I was a big time introvert back in school. I was like totally a big time introvert. So talk much with people. Still am, but better than before. And
I mean, you're doing fine, so.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually a big. Always whenever you're in whenever you're taking attendance, right? When you're in the usually they'll say like you have to they'll call out your name and you have to say present. So even that small task, right? It used to be like very hard for me. I was like, it used to be really hard, but now it's all good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So again, this is Sarah. So she started off with her one of her initiative. It's Cooking for Yemen. So I think it would be better if she talks than me, because if I talk, I'm sure you guys will get bored. So it's better Tara will start speaking. So go ahead. You can talk about the initiative. What is it, and everything. Whatever you like.
Okay, so Cooking for Yemen is basically an attempt to fundraise for Yemen using cooking tutorials. So we use the same kind of premise as a sponsored run or a sponsored walk, in which we make cooking videos, or we have people submit cooking videos, and people watch these videos and they appreciate the effort that went into it, and they decide to donate to our page, and we raise money for Yemen. So we're currently at 2,600 last time I checked.
That's good,
Pounds,
right? I mean, that's
which is
really
good.
impressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, our goal is 3,000, so you've only got 400 left to go. But um yeah, so uh earlier, I think it was quite early this year, well, the Yemen crisis has been going on for a while.
It's
It's been in the
pretty
news
bad,
on and
yeah.
off. Yeah, but it came to my attention again sometime around the beginning of the lockdown. And there were loads of articles saying that Yemen could be like wiped off the map. And should I go into the history of Yemen, or?
Like, if you want, you can go, like, you could just touch the water just for the, if they know what is it actually, because I'm sure, since, like, the thing is that most of them, they don't know what is happening in Yemen. Like, they know, okay, fine, like it's totally going into chaos, but they don't exactly know, like, how it started, like what made it. Because even when people are talking about, the US and everything, they don't know the dark side of what they did to these countries. And so it would be better if you share even that.
Okay. So I've actually written down notes for this because I know I'll forget something. But okay. So I don't know how to summarize it really. Okay, let's try. So Yemen, as we know it, was formed in 1990, so not that long ago, when South Yemen and North Yemen joined together after like a lot of fighting. So the two groups actually had contrasting beliefs on how the country should be run. So the tension kind of continued out even after they joined up. But in 1990, Abdullah Saleh was made president. However, due to widespread dissatisfaction, Yemenis rose up against him in 2011 during spring in the hope for a better future. So what happened then is the GCC, this is the Gulf Cooperation Council, oversaw negotiations that forced Saleh out. So the GCC is basically a group of countries in which the most influential member is Saudi Arabia. And the GCC's deal helped install a new government, and they put Vice President Abdurrabbu Mansur Hadi in charge. Now, under Hadi, Yemen continued to suffer. There was still lots of poverty, lots of fighting, lots of gang crime, all of that. And by 2014, a lot of factions of Yemen began to get impatient. Among them was the Houthis. Now, the Houthis also played a major role in overthrowing Saleh. So these guys are a Shia Muslim minority from North Yemen, and they say they've been marginalized and have often rebelled against the government. So the Houthis and Saleh were both sidelined by the GCC's deal, so the two joined forces. And the Houthis, alongside some of Saleh's allies who were still in the army, took over Yemen's capital in 2014. Hadi fled to Saudi Arabia. So then, Saudi formed a coalition with several other countries to return their man Hadi to power. They expressed three main war aims. They wanted to restore the government of President Hadi, they wanted to protect its own southern border and prevent Yemen from fragmenting, and they wanted to contain the perceived growing influence of Iran in the region. The Saudi-led intervention was a campaign of relentless airstrikes. More than 19,000 attacks happened in 4 years, including bombing hospitals and schools, lots of civilian areas, and many thousands of civilian casualties and deaths happened because of that. In 2015, the Saudi-led coalition created a land, sea, and air barrier around Yemen, making it impossible or almost impossible for aid to get in or out. The Houthis are also blamed for blocking, destroying, or taking aid. this obviously becomes an even bigger issue when you take into account that the war has led some 24 million people, that's about 80% of Yemen's aid, to rely on some form of humanitarian assistance. There isn't enough food, clean water, housing, or medicine to sustain the country, and it's become the world's worst humanitarian disaster. So since then, a lot of other things have happened, but basically because Saudi and their allies like the US, UK, France, the other countries in the GCC are backing the side of Hadi, while the side of Houthis are claimed to be backed by Iran. Although Iran does deny this, but there's fair enough evidence to point that they do. Yemen's pretty much being used as a proxy war for these bigger international players, and the people who are suffering the brunt of it is just normal civilians, which, you know, isn't great.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically the greed, the politics, and all the, you know, the money, the oil war going on. So these guys got in between the crossfire, and they're suffering the most. It's actually a pretty bad thing. Like whatever, suppose, you know, Shell International, whatever oil company which we are like promoting, using. Actually, we don't know the dirty story behind it, so we just use it. That's the sad part. We don't know the truth, what is happening, or who all are getting, who all are suffering from it. So it's actually, I think it's in our control. Like for example, Yemen. So since God has blessed us with lot of things, it's like, you know, it's said that if God blesses us, we should give it back for the people, right? So I think it's a good thing what we should do, and it's just what $1 could make a lot of difference, right?
Exactly. $1 can literally feed a person for like a
Exactly.
day. It's, yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is that I know there are a lot of, you know, initiative, what other Red Crescent and lot of that. But the thing is that about Sarah is that she she likes cooking, so she does it through the cooking shows. So I've seen her pictures and all the food which she makes. It looks totally good. It's too good actually. And
Thanks.
I hope I get to try it whenever you come back to Calicut.
For sure.
Inshallah, we'll see.
Inshallah, yeah.
So what I want to tell you guys is that actually I posted her page on Instagram, and I want you guys to go check it out, and whatever you can, even if it's $1 or two, just donate whatever you can. So is there a way where these people, they could donate their stuff, like old things like clothes and everything? Is it possible? Like, do you know about it?
Cash donations will be a little bit difficult to take because, well, obviously I'm older in the UK, and if someone from India decides to donate, like in cash. But
yeah, I think it's better. Like in your case, it's better if you get the cash, right? You could then easily send it like over to Yemen. So I think that would be better in your case.
So we've set up a website on a page on Just Giving. They're a fundraising kind of website, like Crowdfunder or something,
Yeah.
or GoFundMe, like that. And people have donated on that using the link to that. Just online banking, so you can use Google Pay or whatever, and they enter how much they want to donate and send it to us, and it's stored at the Just Giving page, and at the end I can take the money out and then distribute it to charities. So at the moment I'm looking into which charities are already on the ground, because like I mentioned earlier, there is a barrier created by Saudi around Yemen. So if you're not already there, it'll be difficult for that money to go directly to Yemen, and a lot of it might be used on getting to Yemen instead. But there are a few people already there. So I know Muslim Hands is doing a project where they're building bakeries there to bake bread, and as a way is like, instead of just giving them food once, it's sustainable so they can keep making themselves food. So projects like that are quite interesting, and I'm looking at, as a team, me and my cousins are all working on this together.
It's like a family, you could say a family initiative, right? It's actually pretty good, right?
Yeah.
All you guys are getting together. You can as well, you could make your bond stronger with your cousins and family. So I think it's a pretty good thing what you're doing, and I really appreciate that.
Really nice.
Yeah. So guys,
thank you. definitely
And
nice.
the thing is that I have to end the podcast over here. The main thing is that I'm in Kerala and the connection is horrible over here because first of all it's raining and whatever Sarah is speaking, it's there's a 3 seconds or 4 seconds delay. There's a lag, so we are gonna end the podcast over here. So again, Sarah, thank you for joining us. And
Thank you
from
so much for having me.
yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure. So the thing is that we are gonna support you. Like I'm gonna push this forward again. So I'm not gonna stop it right over here because I
Thank you so
spread
much.
it to most of the people who I know. So they told they'll do their best. So even from the UAE, from Dubai and Abu Dhabi, everywhere. I told my cousins and my friends. So they told they're doing their best about everything. So mostly they'll message you. So
Thank you so much. That means a
yeah, no
lot. The
problem.
support is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so
so and
much.
even even I wanted to discuss with you about some other future projects, how we could help Yemen because it actually moved me when I saw the actual history and everything. Because we hear Palestine, we hear Syria, we hear a lot of places, but I feel like Yemen is the most affected out of everything. And
Mm,
after we start from one place, then we spread it to other places, right? So
yeah.
inshallah, we'll try our best.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully.
so hopefully, yeah. So everyone, so that's
Yeah.
the end of our second episode, and we had a wonderful guest with us today. And so
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
from here, yeah, no problem. Yeah.